Anne, no flames, please. There's no point. If you didn't like my story, didn't read it. It's as simple as that. BTW, Atlantina is not Mary Sue, because she is not perfect and not everyone in the street likes her. She has problems and she has flaws and she's unhappy. Would you like her life? I know I wouldn't. It's totally tragic and horrible. You flammers aren't even making sense. 1. Chapter 4. La Push. I sat quietly on the La Push beach apart from the party that was going on beside me. Mike Newton was following me around like a puppy, and he was so boring. None of the things he had to say was interesting, but I was nice to him because I wasn't a bad guy. My thoughts were elsewhere. I couldn't stop thinking about the events of last night, when Uncle Larry had wrapped me and I had my scary vision in the forest, and a tall, pale guy in my mind had called me his daughter. I didn't understand any of I felt so awful that I had been wrapped by that hideous pervy sicko when I had been saving myself for the right guy and for marriage, and my virginity was torn from my grasp by that twisted guy. It was so cruel and unfair, it made me want to cry. OMG, Mike! What are you doing talking to her? I turned round and saw 4 nasty faces leering at us. It was the cheerleaders I had seen at the cafeteria, and one of them was the girl dating Edward Cullen. The brown hair girl was standing at the back looking moody but not saying anything. Stop being mean, Jessica, Mike said angrily. Tia's awesome, and if you can't see that, it's just because you being blind and shallow and stupid like you always are. Yeah, look at her clothes. She looks like a stupid goth biatch with her slutty top and short skirt and fifth-net tights. Is she a rat hooker or what? Jessica screamed. She was really ugly when she shouted, even though she was a hot chick, and was dressed in skimpy pink clothes. You know what, Jess? You and your friends are so shallow, and you are the real slut. You and Bella and Angela and Lauren may wear short skirts and low-cut tops and stuff, but that doesn't make you beautiful. It's what underneath that counts, Mike shouted. Yeah, speaking of which, said a sly blonde girl in the gang, who was called Lauren, pointing at me. What's with her breasts? They are huge, and I bet they are fake. She laughed, and all her friends laughed too, even Bella and Angela, who had been quiet until then. I got up and I pushed past them and ran away into the darkness. I could hear them all laughing at me, and I felt so embarrassed. I was really sensitive about the waist I looked. I hated the fact that it made all the girls hate me and all the guys stare at me. I would have given anything to be ugly or just inviolable. I wasn't stuck up and didn't think I was better than anyone else because of how I looked. I just wanted people to treat me like a normal person. I couldn't help being slim and blonde with really big boobs. It wasn't my fault. I hadn't done anything wrong. Are you okay? Someone said beside me. Who are you? I asked. 3 really pretty goth girls were standing there smiling at me, and I smiled back. We are Tiffany, Abigail, and Rochelle, they said, smiling. You seem cool. Do you want to be our friends? Yeah, of course. I'm just a bit melancholy because those horrible cheerleaders were being mean jerks and saying my boobs were fake, I said. OMG, you mean Jessica and Bella's gang? They hate us too because we don't care what they think, said Theophany. They are just jealous because you're the prettiest girl in the school now, and they're all playing next to you, but we don't care about stuff like that. We only care about people's personalities. Cool, I said, and we talked for hours. I talked to Theophany, Rochelle, and Abigail for hours, and they were so cool. I had never had proper friends before who didn't care what I looked like or where I had came from. They just liked me for me, and I liked them because they were all uber cool, and we had loads of stuff in common. But after a while they all went home and I stayed on the beck. It was getting late, but I didn't want to go home to Uncle Larry in case he rapped me on his car again. Suddenly I heard a voice behind me. Well, Tia, thou seem to be causing quite a stir at school. His voice was so smooth and seaxy and from another time. Edward. What do you mean? I demanded. Basically, every gay at school wants to have sex with thee, and every girl wants to eat thee alive for it. How's that for causing a stir, my lady? He smiled and kissed my neck. Shut up, jerk! BTW, I met your girlfriend before. Bella, I think her name is. I don't like her or anything, but how the hell can you cheat on her like that and kiss me? And how you do it? Did. It's sick, a cheating bastard, and I should tell everyone. Theophany told me you and Bella are like the school's golden couple or something. What would happen if I told Pipple how you acted in the corridor with me? OMG, sweet lady! Thou must not tell anyone! He screamed. It was a moment of madness, that's all. I'm so sorry for what happened. I hope thine can forgive me, but I've promised myself to Bella, and that's just how it is, no matter how much thou interests me. Fine, then stay away from me, I shouted as I left to go home, but he followed me and grabbed me and pushed me down on the grind. I was burning with anger and fury, but I wanted him so deftly. I didn't even try to resist him. He knew too much. He knew how much I wanted him, and it drove me mad. He put his hands inside my panties, and I gasped. I was suddenly so desperate to sex with him, and I tore my clothes off, and I was in my underwear. I took off my bra and showed him my naked, heaving beast. Have sex with me now, Edward, I whispered. I can't, he said, although his body was on top of mine and his fingers touched my nipples. Please, I'm begging you, I said, hating myself for being such a dirty whore, but unable to control my burning desire. No! He shouted and ran away crying. I put on my clothes back on slowly, feeling so ashamed and embarrassed I could hardly move. I couldn't believe it. I had begged him to do sex on me, and even worse, he had said no. I went home and Uncle Larry made me cook his dinner and suck his cock while he ate his food, and then he raped me and hit me with a shoe all night, and I didn't even complain because I felt like I had deserved it for being such a horrible slut, even though it made me want to die inside. Uncle Larry finally left me alone, and I thought about killing myself as I cried and cried as I